Good morning, Bills Mafia. Thank you for tuning in to the weekly morning pregame show, the Thomas Take Sports Podcast, week 4. We're in week 4 already. Crazy, right? 2-1 Texans. They're not that good. Okay, we'll start off by saying that. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of knowing the opponent. But this is the Thomas Take Sports Podcast pregame show, week 4. The Buffalo Bills versus the Houston Texans. The Bills play at home today in Orchard Park, New York. And I can tell you, looking out the window, it's a rainy day. It's a dreary day in Western New York, but it's a typical fall day in Western New York. This time of year, October, early October, we expect a lot of rain. We expect, weather 60s, 50s as we gear towards the winter season. I don't even want to say those words. I don't even want to say the winter season, the winter months. I'm not ready for it. I'm not a fan of it, but I don't know many people that are. But I am a fan of football season, which comes with the territory. Fall, winter, during the football season, I'm okay with it. As long as football's here, it's cool. I'm good. And I'm excited to give you guys this pregame morning show each and every week prior to the Buffalo Bills doing battle with whoever they play this season. And next week, we got a Sunday night game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And for that one, I'll probably be doing the pregame show in the morning as well. And then going about the rest of my day watching the 1 o'clock game, 4 o'clock game, and then, of course, turning the TV on to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. But as I like to remind you guys, fire away your comments in the comment section below. Any questions that you guys might have or concerns that you might have in regards to this game, I would love to hear them. I'll read them off. Feel free to tell me where you're from as well. I'll read off where you're from. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what makes you a Bills fan. I'd love to hear that. I love stories like that. So the beard is coming back. The beard is back. Trimmed it a little bit today, but I'm happy that I was able to bring it back in full swing. It took me a couple weeks, but we made it happen to get it to the trimmed, neat level. I did not want what I had, a couple weeks ago where it was like out to here and it was all bushy. And no, those days, no. Sorry, but not going to happen. Not doing it. Maybe in the wintertime, Grizzly Adams will return, but as of now, I need to keep it nice and tight. So with that being said, know the opponent. It's the name of the game. You have to know who you're going up against. Knowing who you're going up against, where they are strong, where they're weak, that is how you can succeed in attacking the opponent and trying to achieve victory. So how do I know the Houston Texans? What do we know about the Houston Texans? And I want to address the opponent. I always like to give respect to the opponent prior to stating what I think are the keys to victory for the Buffalo Bills in this one. Knowing the opponent in the Houston Texans, this team has had so much turnover, arguably more than any other team in the last few years. And that says a lot. Cleveland rebuilt their team. Buffalo rebuilt their team. But in a short amount of time, due to reasons that they did not expect, the Houston Texans are a throw-in team, a team with a lot of throw-in type, veteran type players that are at the end of their careers, that they're in a state of transition. They're in a state of transition trying to get past this crazy situation that has taken place with quarterback Deshaun Watson. I said it before the year started. I was in a lot of shows prior to the season beginning, of course, talking about not just the Buffalo Bills, but the biggest storylines within the National Football League. And one of those storylines is whether or not Deshaun Watson will play this year. And I said, I do not think he will play a single down this season. And here we are. Week 4, he hasn't played a single down. I was excited for the Texans to have the opportunity to start Tyrod because, I didn't like Tyrod as the quarterback for the Bills. I didn't feel like he was the long-term answer. He was a short-term answer. He was a short-term stopgap player with a very limited ceiling physically. We knew what he could do. We knew what he couldn't do. It was only a matter of time before Buffalo selected a franchise quarterback, and thank God they were able to find one in Josh Allen. Perfect fit, like a glove. And Tyrod, onward and upward, bouncing around from the Browns, the Chargers, the Texans. And I was really excited for Tyrod, despite the circumstances of Watson being accused of things that are horrible and being put out of the league due to those things. his career on hiatus virtually, essentially. Tyrod getting this opportunity. I was excited to talk about this game when I looked at the schedule. I was excited to talk about this game as if Tyrod was going to be back in Orchard Park, New York, back to take on the Buffalo Bills. That would have revved my engine as a Buffalo Bills fan and as a football fan to watch this game. But instead, Tyrod strained his hamstring. He's probably going to be out the next 4 to 5 weeks. And you have another new piece on the Houston Texans in rookie quarterback Davis Mills. And last week, I watched the Thursday night football game with Houston and Carolina, and Davis Mills actually impressed me. Despite the situation that he was put into, there were moments in that game where he threw very accurate passes, where he moved in the pocket very well, avoided the rush, was able to throw the ball over the middle of the field with great success with a very limited supporting cast. Is this a great situation? No, it is not. Are the Houston Texans a good team? No, they are not. Are the Houston Texans a bad team? I think the Houston Texans are a fine line between bad and not good. There's a little bit of a difference. A bad team is unwatchable. The Houston Texans have been watchable this year. The first week of the season, the Houston Texans, they showed up. They played. They're going to play this whole season. They're going to try to play spoiler to some of these really good teams with a very limited roster as far as talent goes. And this is a game that Buffalo Bills fans, I think on the surface, we could easily say, yeah, this is going to be a blowout. It should be a blowout. The Buffalo Bills should blow out the Houston Texans today. But this is one of those games where any given Sunday, anything can happen. A great team can win. A great team can lose against a bad or not good team if they are not prepared up here fully. And that's something that I just want to throw caution to the wind of and acknowledge that this is a league where anything is possible. Anything can happen. A 44-year-old Tom Brady can go from the Patriots to the Bucs and win a Super Bowl his first season in Tampa Bay. Hey, it happened. We didn't think it would happen. It happened. So this is a team that, Mark Ingram's on the roster. David Johnson's on the roster. They have a well-versed run game with a lot of vets that have been able to make their own impact in their career over the course of their career on multiple teams. That's something that is noteworthy, that they're able to compile all these veterans to say, yeah, we'll try to help Houston, somewhat stay over the hump, get over the hump in this really awful time for the Houston Texans to be going through what they're going through with Deshaun Watson. It's a shame. It's a shame for the league. It's a shame for the Texans. It's a shame that Watson is out of the league. And I don't foresee him coming back this year, at the very least, anytime soon. So I wanted to acknowledge that, knowing the opponent, no more Deshaun Watson, no more J.J. Watt, as well as he is now gone to the Arizona Cardinals. And this defense is far different than what it was in years past. This defense is not as fearsome as it was, not just without J.J. Watt, but you don't have Jadeveon Clowney anymore. I honestly couldn't tell you, due to the amount of turnover, the massive amount of turnover that this team has had in the Houston Texans, I couldn't tell you really who are the standout guys on this team. There are very few and far between. So I want to acknowledge that. I'll get to your comments in just a moment here as I get to the keys to victory. But really, I look at this game as a game that the Buffalo Bills should win. And the keys to victory for the game, for the Buffalo Bills Week 4 battle against the Houston Texans. As I mentioned, Davis Mills did a fantastic job at throwing the ball over the middle of the field. Containing the short game has been somewhat of an issue for Buffalo's defense in years past. They did a great job of containing the short game last week in parts of the game against the Washington football team. Granted, the score was a blowout victory, but Taylor Heineke was able to throw the ball over the middle of the field a little bit here and there, far more than what I expected him to be able to do in that regard. And I think that's an area of this defense that needs to be shored up in terms of linebacker coverage, in terms of coverage over the middle of the field, slants, especially curls, everything that we have seen from these teams with these very short and quick wide receivers, like in terms of not short but quick, I guess you could say Terry McLaurin, Brandon Cooks, they all have that 5 to 10 yard speed that they could catch a 5 to 10 yard pass and take it, obviously for more than that. So that's something that I'm keeping my eye on in this one. I want to see an improved passing coverage defense in the short game in this one. Number 2 is a very interesting one. I'm asking for the Bills to do something that I haven't asked them to do all season long. You go to these last 3 weeks and to go back and to talk about what I've discussed as far as what I want to see from the Bills in the offensive playbook, more of a balanced offensive attack. I think this is the right opponent to try to open things up, completely allowing Josh Allen to just play sandlot football today. This Houston Texans team defensively is not as formidable, as I've said, as they once were on defense or on offense. I think this is a game where Josh Allen could, quite frankly, just open things up, let it fly, and just let it rain. Make it rain out there. As far as dropping dimes, dropping great passes, that's what I want to see in this one, at least in the first half. 1st and 10, chuck it 50 yards down the field. I want to see some chances in this one. I want to see some fun, high-flying opportunities here created by the Buffalo Bills and Buffalo letting Josh Allen somewhat do his thing a little bit more than I have commanded in weeks past. I wanted, a balanced offensive attack. I think this week you can open up the offensive playbook. Key to victory, number 1, front 4 pressure. We saw it against Miami. We saw it against the Washington football team, against Taylor Heineke. They were able to get to him a little bit, but not nearly as much as I thought they would, much to what I was saying about the short game and containing the short game. We saw Heineke able to extend plays. Davis Mills is not as mobile as Taylor Heineke. So we should be able to get after it. Get after Davis Mills. Get after the ball carrier, whoever it may be, whether it's Mills, whether it's Ingram. Their offensive game plan in Houston should be fairly simple. It's a very conservative, run-first, short West Coast offensive unit. And that's what I expect Buffalo to hone in on, stopping the short passing game as well as stopping the run via front 4 pressure, whether it's a passing down or a rushing down. That's what I want to see from the Buffalo Bills in this one. My score prediction for this one, between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans, I got Buffalo winning this one and winning this one big, 38-10. Yes, I'm calling for an all-out blowout in this one. I hate calling blowouts. I feel weird about it. I don't like it. I'm not used to it, of course, as a Buffalo Bills fan the last 29 years, but that's what I see today. That's what I see taking place. That's all I see taking place in this one between the Bills and the Texans is an all-out blowout. Buffalo going 3-1, and you look at the AFC East, Buffalo very well should have a 2-game division lead in the AFC East, which makes my division winner parlay bet looking very good, at least for the AFC East. It was a 6-team division parlay bet. I bet the Bills, I bet the Browns, I bet the Titans, I bet the Chiefs, as well as the Bucks and the Rams. I think that was a pretty safe bet. Bet $10 to win $600, and that was back in May. So very excited to see if that one comes through. I just don't see any other way, any other form or fashion how any of these AFC East teams can win this division. I think this is Buffalo's division to win or Buffalo's division to lose, depending on how you look at it. So let's get to some comments in the comment section below. Tim Giles, longtime listener, longtime viewer of the show, hashtag Mr. Buffalo, let's go Buffalo. And Tim, I'm going to be reaching out to you very soon here. If you're still tuning in, tune in now or after I wrap here. I'm going to be getting some merchandise out probably first week in November. I talked to Danny, the lovely lady that does my merchandise, and I told her I want some more. I want some new stuff. I want some themed stuff. I got some really cool ideas, takeover season, all that stuff, and I'm gonna get you something. So we'll send that out to you, make that happen. So I'll get your address and we'll make that a reality. Dean Jr., today would be a great day to just pound the football with our run game. And today being a rainy day, maybe it's not the day to let it fly necessarily, but I want to see some fun, high-flying stuff. That's all. Whatever that means. I want to see some fun runs. I want to see just some tough football. And I guess running the football would be able to implement that. So I agree with you, Dean. I like that thought. Kevin Johnston, go Bills. Hey, what's up, Ryan? What are takes on today's game? You got them, right? I mean, stopping the short passing game, front four pressure, and opening up the playbook a little bit. Getting the ball to a guy that I think is about to go off in Dawson Knox. I'm calling that right now. I think Dawson Knox will go off at some point in this season with like a 2-touchdown game, maybe even a 3-touchdown game. I see Dawson Knox going off, and I see him going off very soon, whether it's today, whether it's next week. I don't know, but it's going to happen. I feel it in my veins. In your opinion, is this a trap game, Dean Jr. asks, a trap game or a game where you hulk up and show Kansas City how dangerous you are? See, it's very tricky to not fall into that thought. It's very tricky to fall into the thought of, we have to approach this game to try to beat, we have to be better so that we can beat teams like Kansas City. And, Kansas City is a team that's on everyone's mind because we lost to them in the AFC title game. But this is not about Buffalo versus Kansas City. This is literally Buffalo versus every single team that they play. In order to win the Super Bowl, they're going to have to beat everyone that they play, right? They can't lose. They can lose in the regular season, but they got to win enough to make it to the playoffs, right? Win in the playoffs and win the whole effing thing, in the words of Tom Berenger in Major League. So they got to beat everybody. And I mean, there are teams, I think each year's a new year. Each year's a different year. Kansas City's in last. I don't expect that to, last too long. Last in their division, but maybe it will. Anything is possible in this league, and I think that teams like Cleveland are just as scary, if not scarier, than the Kansas City Chiefs this year. Teams like Tennessee are just as scary, if not scarier, than the Kansas City Chiefs. Baltimore has looked pretty good this year. The Raiders have looked very good this year. Derek Carr has had a phenomenal start to the season, and their front four pressure with Max Crosby has been something to watch every single week. So I'm not necessarily thinking that it's just to beat Kansas City. I understand why that thought is there. I get it. I've even thought it myself. But I think we got to look at the big picture, winning the AFC as a whole, and those are some of the teams that we just simply have to get past, not just Kansas City. But I understand the thought. Let's see here. Tim says, in my opinion, it has to be Buffalo versus the league rather than Buffalo versus KC. I agree. Today's focus, taking down Houston. 1 week at a time, Tim. It's a 17-week season now. I almost said 16. It's a 17-week season now. Completely unprecedented as far as how long this season is. Longest season in NFL history. And technically shifting things around, one less week of preseason. It's technically not, but you get the point. Regular season. And I think that, I'm just looking at things 1 week at a time. Next week is KC. It'll be a big game, of course, but we really need to just focus on this one and get this easy dub. This, to me, is an easy W. I'm not chalking it up as one because I want the Bills to go in there and just do what they got to do to win this game. If they don't, it will be bad. It will be bad. If the Buffalo Bills somehow lose today, I'll be very pissed off. I hate to say it any other way than that. Or I wish I could say it any other way than that, I should say, but I can't. So it is what it is. All right, so there you have it. 38-10, Buffalo. I'm calling for a blowout. I feel weird doing that, but I'm going to do it because I just don't see any other way how this game could go. I don't foresee a loss. If they lose, I'll be very, very disappointed. Tonight, I will not be able to do a post-game show tonight. I'm going to see Venom, Let There Be Carnage after the game, and I'm excited to see it. I'm a big Tom Hardy fan, and it changes some things up for me. I haven't been to the movies in quite a while, So I want to go see that movie. James Bond is coming out Friday. I got tickets to see that on Thursday. So I'm excited for that. Feel like things are slowly but surely starting to get back to normal. Call me crazy. Crazy times we're living in still. These last 2 years have been nuts. Nothing short of insanity. So there you have it. I'm Ryan Thomas. That was the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Week 4 pregame show discussing the Buffalo Bills Week 4 battle with the Houston Texans taking place at 1 o'clock at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. I expect to see the seats filled with a raucous Buffalo Bills Mafia crowd. I'm looking forward to this one. As always, go Bills.